Okay, so in lesson 3, we're now going to make that new releases webpage that we didn't quite have in the last lesson. So this one's going to contain a couple of different tables, and what we're going to focus on in this lesson is that we can create a table that displays text and images again. We'll create a horizontal menu bar. So last lesson, we had a vertical menu bar. This one will have a horizontal menu bar, and we'll also have the difference between header and data cells in here. I know it's not in the learning targets, but that is one thing that we'll look at as well. But again, we're going to practice coding these tables, continuing to make different types of tables with different functions. So we're going to create that secondary page. So I have my Bell video homepage up here, but I need something new. So I'm going to do File, New, and then I'm going to do File, Save As. So this should be the first thing that you're doing. You want to save it inside of your HTML and JavaScript folder in your H drive under Unit 3 Tables in the in-class project, and you're going to call this one New Releases.html. When you save it, it should appear as an HTML file, and you should see that in the tab up above. And then I need you to add in that basic HTML skeleton. You'll notice this one has its own unique title, but again, you have your HTML header and body tags, your indentations are appropriate, things like that. So all of that should be added in to your HTML file before you move forward. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add in the image right off the bat. If you go back and look at the beginning notes that you had, I showed you a picture of what this web page is eventually going to look at. So if I pop back up here, there is our new releases page. This is what we're going to create, and you'll notice the first thing this starts with is this image at the very, very top. We then have a horizontal menu bar, which, believe it or not, actually uses a table. And then here we have a table about movies, and you can see some of the formatting that's in there. So that is where we are ultimately heading. So you kind of have a picture in your head back from the first lesson that shows you where we'll be headed and what our final product should look like. So the first thing we want to include is that image at the very, very top. So you're going to include that in your body tag, the very, very top. So you have image, your source is Bell video logo.jpg. Your width is 596 pixels. Your height is equal to 93 pixels. And then if you want to add in alternate text, of course, you are more than welcome to. But if you save this and you run it, you'll notice it uses that same image right out of the file that our Bell video homepage did. So we've now at least got that image added in there. Now from here, the next thing we're going to add in is we're going to add in this horizontal menu bar. Now sometimes it's hard for students to see that this actually is a table, but if you look carefully, it's text and then a vertical line, text and then a vertical line, text, vertical line, text. So really what this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns in one row. So each word gets its own column as well as each vertical line. And if we appropriately use our percentages for the table, we should be able to make this look like we expect it to look. We should be able to space those out and etc. And I will show you where that particular symbol is, that vertical line. Some students can't find that. I'll show you where that is when we get there. So as we thought through this table, a couple of things you should notice is that it is borderless. We don't see that border around it. It's one row and all cells in the row are centered. It has 7 columns within that row, and we want the table to take up approximately 60% of the width of our browser. So I'm going to go in, and right after that image tag, I'm going to add in a break tag just to give it some space. And then I'm going to add in my table tag, close off my table tag, and then I'm going to have my row, close off my row, and now I'm going to add in some of those attributes. So some of the things I know about that table is that it has a border of 0 pixels, so nothing appears. It has 7 columns, and it has a width that takes up 60% of the browser. Now, the one thing I noticed about all of the items in the cells in the table or in the cells of every row is that their alignment in that first row was set to center. So all of the text within that row is to be centered. So remembering the difference between what happens when we center a table versus centering a row. The table centers it on the page. The row centers the text that is within that row and in each of its cells. So we've now got the basic outline of what we're looking for. We also know that we are going to have 7 different columns, so you can prepare for that already if you would like. So here I have 1 column, 2 columns, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have a very, very basic outline of where my table is headed. So now let's think through row 1. We know there are 7 columns, so we've accounted for that. Each contain either a word or that vertical line. All of them are data cells, none of them are header cells, and each of them have a varying width percentage within the table. So we're going to have to accommodate for that as we create each cell. So from here, we're going to add these in one at a time. Now I'm going to add these in a little more slowly. I'm not going to jump right in and add in the whole line. You'll notice I've already added in just the cell tag for that first cell. So I have my width is equal to 20%. Notice it is percent, not just 20. And then this is going to have the word home. And then what you'll notice around the word home is that it has a reference to the Bell Video homepage. So I'm going to add in that link tag there, close off that link tag there, and then I'm going to add in that hyperlink reference. So here I have bellvideohome.html and close that off. So that's my first cell. It takes up 20%. It has a link to the Bell Video homepage around the word home. And then we notice that the next cell over is just a vertical line. So this one we only want to take up about 1% of the width. And all we're going to do is type in the vertical line. Now, if you don't know where the vertical line, I want you to press Shift and hold Shift down, and then look immediately above Enter. You'll see that vertical line, and if you are pressing Shift and press that button above Enter, you will get that vertical line. So that's where that vertical line comes from. It's just right above the Enter, and if you're pressing Shift while you press that button, the vertical line will appear. Now the next 4 data cells are pretty similar. They all have the same general pattern. They just have different widths and different words. So we have a width of 25% for the next cell. This next one says new releases, and it links to the new releases page. So I'm just going to copy my link and then change where it's linking to. So here I'm going to change this to be new releases.html and then make sure that I close off my link. Then I know that the next one is a vertical line, and I need a width that's equal to 1% of the table. I then know that my next one has a width that's equal to 15% of the window, and this one contains the word actor. And then I'm going to copy and paste in my link. I'm going to put in the actor.html page and then close off the close off the anchor tag. And then I have another vertical line, and this has a width that is equal to 1%. And then the last one with the type has a width that's also equal to 15%. Uses the word type, and then this one is linking to the type.html page, and so I want to close off that link as well. So now if I save this and I run it in Chrome, I see that horizontal menu bar. And if I click, I can go to the home page, I can go to the new releases page, I can go to the actor page, I can go back to the new releases page, I can go to the type page, I can go back to the new, so I can click between all of my different pages, which is kind of cool. Now I have a link between all of them, and I can get to where I'd like to go. So you should have that horizontal menu bar in there and working. If not, please let me know and I can help you kind of figure that out and see what errors you might possibly be making. But make sure that that horizontal menu bar works, that you can click between the different pages pretty seamlessly.